All right, if you work in finance, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say month end. It's a struggle, right? Well, today we're going to look at how to totally transform that tedious, time-consuming reporting process. And the best part, we're going to do it without you ever having to leave the one tool you already know and love, Excel.
I mean, does this feel familiar? For so many accountants, this is just the reality. The end of the month rolls around and boom, here comes the storm. We're talking manual exports, frantic copy pasting, and that constant sinking feeling when you're hunting for that one formula that just broke. It's this cycle of repetitive, honestly draining work that just eats up so much valuable time.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got the promise of Excel. I mean, it's flexible, it's powerful, everyone knows how to use it. But then there's the reality of financial reporting. It's a mess of manual exports, broken formulas, and just wasted hours. There's this huge gap between what Excel should be and what it often becomes. Okay, but what if we could actually close that gap? What if you could give Excel a major upgrade? Give it superpowers even, a way to connect directly to your financial data and just automate that whole painful process. Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into right now. So the tool that makes all this happen is called Velixo. And at its core, it's actually a really simple idea. It's an add-in for Excel that acts like a secure live bridge to the financial data sitting inside your AP system. Your company's main hub for all things finance. The key here is that it means no more exporting and no more clunky middle steps. It's a direct line. Which brings us to this. Think of it as Excel with superpowers. And that really is the best way to think about it. This isn't about throwing out what you know and learning some brand new, complicated software. No way. It's about taking the tool you already use every single day and just making it smarter, faster, and way more powerful. And when you do that, the shift in your workflow is, well, it's dramatic. You go from the old way, reports that are static, completely manual, and just full of potential errors, to a new way. Reports that are built on live, refreshable data. They're automated and, maybe most importantly, they're trustworthy. You can actually count on the numbers. So, the big question is, how does this actually work? Let's pop the hood for a second and look at the live data connection that really makes this whole transformation possible. Okay, so the secret sauce, the real magic, is this direct, secure link. Once you connect your Excel workbook to your ERP, it's no longer just a static document. It becomes this dynamic, living window that looks directly into your financial system, all in real time. So what does having a live connection really mean for your day-to-day grind? It means all of those tedious, repetitive tasks are just gone. Seriously, no more copying and pasting. No more exporting CSVs every single morning. No more manually updating numbers cell by cell. And thank goodness, no more chasing down broken formulas. It just completely eliminates all that grunt work. All right, let's talk about how this actually translates into real-world results. Because this isn't just some theoretical improvement, right? We're talking about fundamentally changing the time it takes to get your most important work done. Literally shrinking processes that took hours down to just minutes. And all this power comes from a set of new functions that Velixo adds right into Excel. They work just like the functions you already know and use, like sum or VLOOKUP. But instead of looking at other cells, they pull live numbers directly from your general ledger, your GL. So let's meet the star of the show, the GLBALANCE function. And just look at how simple this is. It's 4 easy steps. You type the function name, you tell it which account you want, you pick your period, and that's it. Boom, a live, accurate number straight from your ERP appears instantly in the cell. No lookups, no exports, just a direct, simple answer. Okay, now, imagine building an entire income statement or a balance sheet using these kinds of functions. What you get is a report that you only have to build one time. Just once. From then on, for any new month or quarter, you just hit one button, refresh, and every single number updates automatically. The days of rebuilding the same reports over and over and over again, they're just over. And the impact of this it's massive. We're talking about a 50 to 80% reduction in the time your team spends on manual reporting. Think about that. That's not just a small efficiency gain. That is a fundamental change in how a finance department can operate. So, when you put it all together, it becomes really clear why this approach clicks so well with finance professionals. It's more than just another tool or another piece of software. It's a solution that was designed from the ground up to solve their specific everyday pains.
So let's just boil it down to the key benefits. First, and this is huge, it uses the Excel skills your team already has. The learning curve is practically non-existent. Second, it just completely obliterates the most tedious part of the job, all that manual exporting and data entry. And that, of course, helps your team close the books faster. But maybe most importantly, it creates data you can finally truly trust. You get one single source of truth, which means you can end all those debates about which spreadsheet is the right one.
And that really brings us to the final, and I think the most important question of all. When you eliminate all those wasted hours of manual work, what does that free you and your team up to do? More analysis? More strategic planning? This is the core takeaway. It's about transforming the finance department from being a historical record keeper into a forward-looking strategic advisor for the whole business. So, what would you do with all that time you get back?